Do what you gotta do.
They're there.
Yep.
Those commercials didn't bump.
There you go. They care, not hard. Will I ever try to do that again? Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. You're in Nashville as well.
That's how that is. If the order has it for 3 hours, you get it for 20 minutes.
Luckily,
When we get to session, I'm gonna open it, but when we get to session even.
Oh, they help you out sometimes.
We talked about it.
Sometimes it's over Christmas.
Yeah.
he likes editing.
I don't hate editing.
He likes it. Oh, my gosh.
I don't mind doing it in, when session starts. You and I have a little agreement worked out. Just depending on the days for sure.
You tell him you're 6 months less.
He's riding his way out. You're almost there, Joe.
Yeah, budget. Yeah, I got 5 days.
Almost there. It's on the back half though. Bad stretch.
It is. It don't get much better maybe before the end. Maybe 6 months.
Now, they offered me money to leave.
You like they do.
Wow.
Who was that? California a long time ago. They did some buyouts. I mean, they knew Yankees would buy out.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, big buyout.
Yeah, you did.
Took a lot of money. Yeah. And then he went to work for Williams and Cat.
Oh.
Worked so
Sure.
tired.
Give me your phone.
Got me trying to some weeks ago.
No, I'll take all my questions. Love that shit doesn't matter.
You know, most of the your rules was on.
You have your work phone? I want to
They
forward
still want
you
you there
now.
between them before they, and I'm sure the police department,
They're
fire
trying.
department, and even that, if you're administrative,
Well, I don't know how to see it for a insurance for people, I mean, those councilmen that, Dennis gets that story,
Dennis,
but the council, and,
our Dennis?
Yep.
17th Dennis?
well, before
when
you
you see
said.
him, tell him Joe Gregory says he's nice.
Yeah, tell
He
me,
does.
James said the same thing.
You guys don't like him? Or are you just teasing him?
Oh, everybody loves Dennis.
Oh, yeah, okay, good. Hi, I'm Peyton. I hope to take Dennis's job.
You got some big shoes to fill. I worked with Dennis for,
So, you got to learn to be nice.
Oh, I love it. I'm like the only one, I don't like doing the red carpet. I don't like doing fluff. Like, I hate that shit. It's so boring. Literally. Like, I interviewed the press, or the press in Tampa Bay this morning. I was like, this is just as bad as the family red carpet. So boring, sitting here waiting an hour, like, you're not president. Let's get moving. No, I won't.
yeah.
All right, y'all. Governor's coming down right now. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it.
Chill Ford.
Yeah, we were talking about that, Dave's nuts.
When Greg stopped it too, he's got 401k and stuff like that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Meredith, they paid us out last year.
You need me to move on?
Or set the shop and then go.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you, sir?
Good, good.
Travel all right today?
How y'all? Yes, sir. I did. Was in Memphis this morning, so
You've been all over the place today, huh?
it's been a busy day,
Oh, I
but productive. Y'all ready? I print journalists over here. Thanks y'all for joining. Let me make a couple comments before we get to questions. Certainly our attention and our hearts have turned toward Florida and the struggles and the challenges that they have going on all across that state. We have authorized the use of the National Guard, and I authorized 1,200 National Guardsmen to make their way to Florida, and they're on their way right now to support what's going on down there. We've also authorized the use of ambulance strike teams. Governor DeSantis has been in communication with me about the work that we're doing, and I am grateful that we have the resources to be able to support them. I also signed an executive order today that for a temporary period really deregulates the movement of supplies to Florida for supplies that move through our state. So we're making every effort to help down there. And I just want to remind Tennesseans that a few weeks ago I signed a proclamation declaring tomorrow as a day of voluntary prayer and fasting. And I invite people of all faith who want to participate this in tomorrow. It's certainly timely. Florida needs our prayers, the people of Florida do, and we invite Tennesseans to do that as we send resources to support them. A couple other things. We released a recruitment video for our highway patrolmen this week. We all know that we need boots on the ground. We need law enforcement to be a part of keeping our community safe in Tennessee. So we have had a very successful recruitment campaign last year, and we want to continue that, and that video was released this week. And finally, we announced earlier today that we have taken another step in support of TBI's efforts to reduce the wait times on their testing processes. It's very important that we do that, and the details of that have been released, but we heard from the TBI on what their requests were, and we moved the red tape out of the way and made sure we got that in anticipation of a budget request for next year. So we sped that process up, and hopefully that will get those wait times reduced much sooner. So that's the things I wanted to say up front. Be happy to take your questions.
Are we short, I mean, how many short are you on the state troopers since we put out the release trying to promote more troopers?
Well, we put 100 new troopers in last year's budget. We will hope to put another round of new troopers in our budget, so we will need to fill the hundreds of positions that will help us patrol the roads safely and support law enforcement across the state. More broadly, there's a need for potentially thousands of law enforcement officers in sheriff's departments and police departments and the highway patrol all across the state. So it's a broad recruitment effort that we're making.
TBI, you getting more money to hire scientists?
TBI will be getting more money to hire scientists.
And are you going to go to Melissa next?
Governor, the
Melissa.
announcement today for 25 more TBI scientists, that really brings the number of TBI scientists in line with what TBI had already requested at the beginning of this year. Why have they given the full request this spring? And if they are right now using already existing funding to fund those 25 new positions, do you think they already have the funds that they need?
So the way the funding will work, we made the largest investment in TBI that we've ever made in the state's history last year. The process for them to hire the folks that we authorized last year is underway, but the number of scientists are not at work yet at TBI. Those positions are being filled. That leaves a vacancy of resources, so it leaves a gap of money available to spend on the immediate hiring of more. And we asked them to use that vacancy in resources to go ahead and speed up the process for the next 25. We gave that historic amount of funding last year. We wanted to see what the process would be for filling those, and they've shown that they are capable of filling the positions. And so we have, in anticipation of the request, we've gone ahead and made that happen.
Governor,
Governor, just to jump off that question, it took a vice president's death to jumpstart and have this conversation about the backlog, about reviews, about whether or not it's fully staffed. Do you think that's fair to the victims who are currently waiting for results of work for their reviews that it took?
I'm sorry, do I think that what?
Do you think that's fair to the victims that it took this one very high-profile death to get some sort of attention?
I think what's important is that the request from the TBI last year was made to speed up these timelines, and we gave them $25 million to start the process of reducing those lines. We are giving them 25 more positions today to speed that process up even more. Certainly this issue that the TBI has had, they have had for a long time. And we became aware of that. They made requests, and we have begun to fund those requests.
Quickly, on a separate topic, it was announced that Hillsdale is withdrawing all 3 of their appeals applications from the Charter School Commission. Any comment on that decision?
Yeah, I, remain committed to the fact that we should provide parents choices in this state for education. I continue to believe that we should have classical education options for parents, but the decision that was made there is entirely their decision.
Governor Lee, would you continue to support American classical education? Should they put forth another application in different parts of the state or in the same parts of the state, given its affiliation with Hillsdale and its president Larry Arnn? I know that that relationship has been well documented.
What I really do support is choices for parents for their children's education. We have a number of charter management organizations in this state, 22, I believe. High-quality public charter schools are an integral part of our state's public education system. 41,000, I believe, children are educated. It's important to know that about 90% of those children are minority students. Those families, those parents need to have options. Classical education is an option that some parents and some students want, so I will continue to advocate for options for choices for parents.
Hi, Governor Lee, Peyton News with Fox 15 here. Assuming the state's recent earmarks totaling $330 million for infrastructure improvements at TSU and the light most favorable to the state, local representatives say the state still owes TSU $214 million to equal the amount of land grant funds that TSU was shorted over a period of decades. What is your response to that? And are you going to include any of this money in your next budget? Like, what are the plans?
Yeah, the plan is to fulfill the commitment that we've made to TSU, which is the largest and most historic funding commitment ever, $250 million plus additional funding and we have worked together with TSU leadership to make certain that those funds are spent correctly. That's the plan.
Governor, I want to make sure we want to get back to Andy over there.
One of the persons associated with the American Classical Academy or that organization is making, and I think maybe Arnn as well, were making disparaging remarks about George Washington Carver and other prominent African Americans and such, and saying, basically they're just thrown out there because they had to have somebody. Do you agree with that? I mean, is that, how appropriate is that to have, make disparaging remarks, basically racial remarks like that?
Yeah, you'll have to ask them about their remarks.
Well, you're the one who wants to do business with them. Welcome.
What I want are choices for parents in the state. And people make a lot of remarks. You should ask them about their own remarks. I'm committed to the fact that parents should have options and choices, and I will continue to advocate for that.
Sam, I think you're back there.
Yeah, Governor, the Joint Government Operations Committee the other day heard from the Department of Correction, and they were not happy with their presentation in response to the 2020 audit by the comptroller, and they finally admitted that Core Civic is paying now liquidated damages up to $10 million plus, which means that they're doing an even worse job of staffing than they were 2 years ago. And what's your response to Core Civic doing even worse? And when is it time to part ways with Core Civic?
I think the fact that they're paying liquidated damages it's an appropriate response to a staffing challenge, and certainly there are staffing challenges in prisons. We had them in the state side as well. We raised our pay for correctional officers to address those staffing challenges, but there is a process, and we'll continue to hold those accountable that provide services to our state. We should not let down our standards for the quality of services that outside providers provide to our state, but we also should make sure that taxpayer money is spent wisely, and we'll do so with Core Civic or any other provider to the state.
But I think Core Civic's vacancy rate for staff is higher than the state's rate. I mean, they face, the state's being sued in part because of this. When do you hold their feet to the fire?
Well, we will make certain that any provider is upholding the standards that we require. And that's why we have audits, and that's why we have damages when they don't comply. But that if they don't come into compliance, then there obviously will be a process in place there.
Did you all provide $15 million for that to help with taxpayer dollars to help them with staffing?
No, we put our dollars toward the correctional officer pay of the state.
Well, I know you all did it for the state, but also wasn't there a separate appropriation for?
Not that I'm aware of. I'll look into that and get you that information.
All right, Governor, I want to make sure
We have anybody else that didn't have an opportunity?
You guys can go first, I just have to follow. Is that okay?
one more question right here, and then we got to make sure we're.
Is there any, back to TSU, is there any plans to include any of the money that's still owed to TSU in your next budget request? Or will you ask the legislature to pay out this multi-billion-dollar rainy day fund?
We have made a historic investment in Tennessee State University, and the leadership there have worked with us and are pleased with that investment. And to date, that's all that's been discussed.
Channel 5? All right, great. Thank you all.
All right, thanks, y'all.